Welcome to Unedited, our fortnightly podcast where we explore the opportunities and challenges the retail industry is facing. From fashion, beauty, and homeware, I will chat to leading experts in the industry to shed light on how retailers can create a brighter future. So, periods of social unrest in 2020 thrust diversity to the top of the industry's agenda, leading to a surge of inclusive campaigns and initiatives. On today's episode, we'll be addressing fashion's inclusivity problem. So by 2022, plus size women will account for 22% of the UK fashion market. This is a market that's worth $24 billion globally. Whilst new arrivals in 2020 were disrupted due to the reaction to COVID, investment in plus size ranges continued to blossom. The number of new plus or curve styles increased by 11% in 2020 versus 2019. Although there are still issues to address as an industry and as a community. According to the International Journal of Fashion Design, Technology and Education, the average American woman wears a size 16 to 18. However, the majority of products stocked online sit between a 00 to an 8. And across the US and the UK, prices for plus size 100% cotton t-shirts are on average 13% higher than that of standard sizes, with fewer options available, proving that there is the existence of a fat tax. And this reflects brands' hesitance to supply larger sizes due to the additional material costs. So on today's podcast, we have Katie Murphy, VP of Client Services at 11 Honoré. Welcome to Unedited, Katie. We're so excited to have you on the podcast. How are you doing?
Good. It's so good to meet you, Grace. I'm so happy to be here today.
Oh, well, I hope you're surviving 2021 all right.
I mean, just, like everyone else, one day at a time.
Absolutely. I know. I was reading something on Instagram the other day and it's like, making the most of the joys of lockdown and the things that you can't necessarily do when life is going at a million miles an hour. Right?
Yes, you absolutely have to. I'm a big proponent of that. Find the joy in the little things.
Absolutely. So to start off, it would be great to hear more about your career and how did you find yourself as VP of Client Services?
Yeah, so I've always been in the luxury fashion world, which, is kind of a dream I had as a little girl. And I moved to New York and I soon realized, wow, this fashion industry might be better from afar. It's not as glamorous as I thought, but I still loved it. And after, a few different jobs in fashion photography and production, I decided to kind of go to the more corporate side and focus on D2C. So I love sales. I'm a salesperson at the end of the day, and I love working with customers. I'm a relationship seller, so kind of building a network and taking them with me wherever I go. It's one of my favorite things. I also am fascinated by customer behavior, consumer insight. So that's ultimately all of my past experience, which got me at 11 Honoré. But before 11 Honoré, I was at The RealReal, which I'm sure you are well aware of. And I led the team of luxury managers over at The RealReal office in New York. And, I'd never heard of a luxury plus size, multi-brand e-tailer like 11 Honoré because one had never existed. And I got linked up with Patrick Herning, our CEO and founder, and someone said, just have a call with him. And I was like, I just don't understand this business. Like, it's so unheard of, but I'm fascinated because I'm a size 12 and maybe I can shop on his site. That's what I was thinking. And I was very happy at The RealReal, had no intention of looking for another job. I have one call with Patrick. Next thing I know, I'm on a plane to LA. And I was like, when do I start? This is amazing. And I've never looked back. So I've been in my dream job now to be the customer and also work for the company and believe in this movement and the brand and the growth of this industry is pretty unique. And that's how I ended up at 11 Honoré.
Amazing. So could you tell us more about 11 Honoré as a business?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the first size inclusive fashion company. We are a multi-brand retailer. We sell online directly to customers. We have over 80 brand partners, a mix of high-end designer to contemporary to a lot of athleisure these days,
Yeah.
and our own in-house brand, the 11 Honoré collection. Basically, we're the first in the extended size marketplace to get these brands. I'll use Dolce and Gabbana as an example.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, hey guys, this is a huge, huge market. You need to jump on board and start cutting your garments in size, above a size 12. And we lend out our fit technology, fit models, you name it, to really work with our brand partners to be able to service this customer in this market. I mean, it's such a no-brainer to us when we talk about it, but then, of course, there's a lot of obstacles that different brands have to come across. But yeah, Diane von Furstenberg, we were knocking down Diane von Furstenberg's door for years, and finally they launched into Extended. We carried it on our site first. It sold out in about 24 hours, the classic wrap dress.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting. So that's what we do. And I think that we really have started the true conversation. Obviously, plus size clothing has been around, obviously, for a long time, but from a fashion, to be kind of like one of the players in the fashion industry, we're the first ones.
I mean, it's so exciting for us as well to get to speak to you guys, trailblazers in, a market which for our listeners is worth, $24 billion. It's huge. So for those that are listening, would you mind kind of explaining more about what size inclusivity means and what does it really stand for? And also, when you hear the term plus size, what sizes are we talking about?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I read an article recently that was kind of defining the difference between plus size, the term plus size, and the term size inclusive. And I'm such a fan of the term size inclusive because to me, that's what I want to give my customers. I want to give her the same garment in the same fabric at the same price as a straight size woman would be able to shop. So to me, it's being fully inclusive and just, I mean, literally to the true term, like not excluding anyone. I want it to fit every body type. I want it to be all encompassing. Plus size is amazing because a lot of people identify as plus size, and there's a huge community of body positivity movement around plus size. And so I think the terms kind of work together, but 11 Honoré, we describe ourselves as size inclusive. We start at size 12 and we go up to size 26.
Amazing. So obviously back in 2017, yourself and your partners identified this huge gap in the market to offer women a shopping site that gave that size inclusive offering and the option, to finally experience designer clothing and style. How have you seen this market develop in the past 5 years?
I mean, I'm so immersed in it. So I feel like I'm seeing it more and more. And I think we are as an industry. It was plus size or extended size, size inclusive, however we want to refer to it today, has always been, part of the conversation. But it was kind of looked at as more of a niche, like extra, kind of like an add-on or just a niche, just like its separate own little category. It wasn't embedded in the everyday conversation of the fashion landscape. And I think more and more it is. But when we when we launched, we saw the void in the market. I mean, like 3 to 4 years ago, it was just still a small conversation, really no super focused, true north. And I think that conversation is changing every day, thanks to brands like us, and then also other brands that have extended into the category.
Well, it's very exciting to see what is happening. And I know, obviously, recently the luxury designer Erdem, launched extended sizing for the first time with their pre-spring 21 collection, which is now being offered up from a UK size 6 to a 22. How have you seen luxury brands approaching size inclusivity, and where is there still opportunity?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just looked at the I just looked at the market line sheets for the Erdem collection for spring 21, and I was like, I mean, it's so beautiful, and one of my all-time favorite designers. So that's such a smart, good move for them. I think they're going to be very, very successful. I think the opportunity is, on platforms like ours. And I think the opportunity is going to increase the more we identify this customer. 75% of women, I would say globally, but I can really, because I saw some stats actually on the UK, but definitely 75% of women in the US are a size 14 and above. It sounds like the average size in the UK might even skew a bit bigger, closer to a 16, 18. And, that's a huge, huge part of the market. So the opportunity is really endless, but I think it's, has to be very strategic. So it's, what does the customer want? How are you delivering fit? How are you being transparent? How are you communicating? How are you talking to the customer? How are you finding her? And I think a lot of brands look to us to kind of guide that forward.
It's exciting, isn't it? How you say, obviously you guys are a platform, but you also have that partnership with those brands. And it's almost like you're an advisory to those brands as well in how to be successful in that space.
In a lot of ways. I mean, we always say we come from a place of yes. So if someone is looking to us for guidance and in their foray into the category, we'll always work with someone. We'll always partner with someone because we know it's so important for the industry as a whole. And so yeah, in that realm, yes. Fit technology, I would say we're the experts.
Wow. And I know we're definitely going to get onto that, but you mentioned knowing what is important to that customer. So it'd be great to understand from your expert opinion, what is it that customer is, what do they really value? What does she care about when it relates to fashion and style?
So what she cares about is the same thing that almost any fashion consumer cares about. She wants value. She wants quality. She wants good service, especially after the year we've all come off of. I think kind of having, everyone's shopping online, obviously, but I think having a personal contact at the store where you're shopping or the brand you're shopping with, getting expert guidance and advice on sizing and how to measure yourself, and really educating her on how to shop. That I would say our customer needs more than a straight size, just because historically she's never had access to this.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's almost like teaching her how to shop and build that confidence, set her up for success. But aside from that, she wants what every other fashion shopper wants.
It's true, isn't it? Because I remember, I lived out in the States about 4 or 5 years ago. And at the time I was a US size, 12, 14. And I remember being so frustrated that I couldn't wear the trends or the fashion items that maybe my friends who were a size 6 or a size 4 were able to wear. And it was just so frustrating, because it's like, I want the same as you guys. I want to be able to wear products. I don't want to just wear black or navy and be in something that's like an oversized cut that's not flattering. So I think the breakthrough for me was when I saw on Madewell's site, and they were showing their jeans on different sizes and different shapes, and like the first time you were able to see, okay, what does that perfect vintage jean look like on that size versus seeing it on a standard model size.
Oh, absolutely. And I love Madewell. I think they really cover, they show the product really well. And I think it allows the customer to identify, like you said, you kind of see yourself. But I'm the same. Like I said, I'm a size 12, so I've always been on the cusp. I've always been in the fashion industry. I obviously I love fashion. I love designer clothes. But, I'd be shopping with my girlfriends in New York and going into, Saks or Nordstrom, whatever it was. And I couldn't find anything, and they'd walk out with loads, It's real. The frustration is real. And for women that are, truly plus size, like a size 14, 16, 18, whatever it may be, in department stores, they'd have to almost go down to the basement. Like their clothes were completely separate. It's just crazy. Again, the industry is more of a focal point. It is more of a conversation. Those people are embracing inclusivity in so many ways. And we're really seeing that change. But yeah, it was real. And my whole thought process is like, nothing needs to be separated. If a size 6, can have this, so should a size 20. It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. I feel like, in the news, even I think it was just yesterday that Mango announced that they are actually obviously retiring their Violetta range, which has historically housed their plus size product. They're now integrating that with their main line and offering a larger size run. We've kind of touched on it already, but I would love to know your opinion on standalone plus size ranges and lines versus just increasing that size offering to the existing product.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again. Anyone that's even having this conversation, I think that's a plus. So anyone that's embracing the curvy market, good for you. You should be here. That said, you can't just start cutting into, horrible, cheap fabrics just to kind of enter this category. I can't talk about fit enough. So, I tend to lean towards brands that integrate it into their current collections and just extend the size range. I think that's really smart. If you are going to do a standalone brand, diffusion line, whatever you're looking to do, it has to be very thought out and making sure you're giving her what she wants and deserves and has never had access to. Yeah. And that's what we did with our in-house collection. I mean, the designs, the fabrications, the market research, the competitive analysis, the fit technology. I mean, we really, really made it the best we could be. And we were wholeheartedly able to stand behind the fit in every single garment, which is amazing. It still blows my mind. And I know this so well, but I can say to someone, oh, well, you won't return it because it'll fit. And I say that confidently. It's amazing. So I think when other brands are looking to foray into this category, you have to have a lot of integrity.
Totally. And I think, on that topic of conversation of fit, we know you have a very unique approach to that at 11 Honoré. Could you tell us more about that and the impact that has had on the business from both a commercial and a customer perspective?
Yes, absolutely. So we are lucky in the sense that we have an office full of our customer. We basically have women in the office that cover the size range 12 to 24. So we're very lucky in that sense. We also are quite an opinionated group of women. So besides having our collection led by our amazing designer, Danielle Williams, AK. We fit samples on real bodies. You know, fashion has always been kind of draped on forms, and that works for straight sizes, but curvy women need more accommodation, and fitting on real bodies, seeing actual movement, seeing how much like seam allowance you need to leave to create more room for a bust line or a bicep is really, really important in building out your collection. So, you know, we start on fit models. We did a lot of customer focus groups and, you know, let our customers try the clothing. We always put a little stretch into, a tiny bit of stretch into tops, just to kind of allow for, you know, you might have 2 size 18 women, but their shapes are different. So you want to be able to accommodate different shapes, as well as all different body types. So the fit process is quite rigorous for our in-house collection. And as far as customers go, it creates loyalty, it creates trust and confidence. Again, I'm a huge proponent of, I work so closely with customers and always have, and setting people up for success. Who these women are so used to walking into a dressing room and the dress not zipping, to be able to send them into a fitting room and have something on that you may even have to take in a bit, is setting customers up for success. And I've seen some customers that I started with at the beginning of my time at 11 Honoré, and kind of seen their evolution and their confidence evolve and grow, just, you know, in other aspects of their life too. But I think just by dressing better, feeling better, finally having clothes that they never thought they could ever wear, it made such a difference in their lives.
I can imagine. I mean, as you said, it breeds loyalty. Like, obviously, you know, your customer base know they can trust you and that they want to spend their money on your platform because they're going to get a product that they're going to love and want to wear. So in terms of categories and the availability of plus type product, you know, where is there still untapped potential in regards to size inclusivity?
I would say workwear. I think workwear is very hard. You know, now everyone's on Zoom, so you're not really wearing tailored suits or jackets that much, which I guess is nice. But overall, as a category, I think workwear could, you know, has a lot of potential. Also, evening wear. You know, high-end evening wear has always kind of been a little bit of a custom conversation, you know, for anyone above a size 12, because it's expensive. You know, these fabrics are imported. There's a lot of embroidery. There's, you know, handwork. And so these curvy women have had to, you know, pay extra, book an appointment, go to fittings. It's much more of a process than a straight woman who can buy a beautiful evening gown off the rack. So I think evening wear is a huge category that, you know, it exists, but I think has a lot more potential for growth. Outside of clothing, I think shoes and jewelry. I get a lot of requests for, you know, not only extended size calves in boots, but also wider foot width and jewelry. I had never thought of that, but I hear that quite often. They want jewelry that is wider to, you know, to fit wrists or bigger necks. And I think that's an amazing market that is completely overlooked as well.
Totally, especially, you know, in the midst of a pandemic. I know, you know, from the analysis that we do at Edited, you know, jewelry has been kind of a hero category because that's something that people can wear and it makes them feel good. You know, that's something you are seeing on Zoom, you know, is your neck or things like that. So that's really exciting what opportunities there are still out there. And what role does social media play in kind of the size inclusive conversation and, you know, in particular body positivity and allowing women to celebrate their bodies?
It's huge. Social media is huge in any industry, I think. But I've never seen such a community of women who are so supportive of each other than the plus size community. It's so inspiring. And I've seen customers in LA and Chicago, top customers of mine meet on 11 Honoré Instagram just by like engaging with each other in comments and have developed really close friendships. I mean, it's amazing to me. So I think it's great for the consumer because they have kind of an art, like a community that they never even knew about. They're meeting new friends. They're realizing they're not alone. And also for kind of like the influencers and the people that are, very active in speaking about the body positivity movement, they're just phenomenal, inspiring women as well. It continually blows me away. So yes, social obviously is very important. More and more our customers are, listening, they're engaged, and we have to talk to them through social channels. And this industry makes sense to really hit hard on social.
Totally. Like, I love what you were saying about the fact that it's, the community, and that people are finding, meeting others who, are also love fashion, interested in style, but, have those shared experiences. And so Ashley Graham, I know she was obviously the first plus size model to grace the cover of Vogue, and she has 7.9 million followers on Instagram. Who are the top plus size influencers that our audience should be taking note of, or who do you really see making a name for themselves?
Yeah, Ashley's amazing. She's so impressive. Paloma just was on the cover of Vogue for January. She's a name I think we're going to see a lot more of. She's fantastic. We're going to start seeing more curvy supermodels. When you hear the word supermodel, you're thinking Cindy Crawford and Kate Moss and Christy Turlington, but supermodels are now, Ashley Graham is certainly going to be is a supermodel. Paloma, there's Candace Huffine. There are some amazing models that have just completely, they're stars. They've reached the top of this category, and it's amazing. As far as influencers go, we're so lucky. Like I said, there's such a strong community. And we have such a huge extended 11 Honoré family. Two influencers that stick out to me. One is Nicolette Mason. She's amazing. If you're not following her, make sure you are. She's an incredible person, an incredible businesswoman. The way that she speaks about body positivity, among many other topics, is just so authentic. And she's incredibly intelligent, and anything that comes out of her mouth, I pretty much listen to. She's also a great friend of ours, a huge cheerleader of 11 Honoré. We did a collaboration with her with the leather company Veda. It sold out in about a day.
Wow.
She's amazing. Kelly Brown is another great friend of ours. Kelly has incredible style, and has just also been a huge supporter of ours, especially when it comes to our in-house brand 11 Honoré collection. So check Kelly Brown out. Who else? Gabby Gregg. Gabby Gregg is amazing. She actually was one of the first plus size influencers. I mean, she kind of engaged this community and really got brands talking about this via social channels almost 10 years ago. So
yeah,
she's an original. So those three, Nicolette Mason, Kelly Brown, and Gabby Gregg, I would say keep your eyes out for. Definitely check them out on Instagram.
Gosh, I will certainly go and look at them. I mean, Nicolette Mason, I'm really interested to hear what it is that, she's been saying and how she's been communicating, like you said, about body positivity. And what is the value of influencers to 11 Honoré as a business?
I mean, I think it's so important in so many ways who we align ourselves with, right? I think the influencers that we collaborate with have to stand for the core values that we believe in, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They have to authentically believe in us and vice versa. I think that's what makes a good partnership. And their audience, their followers have to be a good representation of our audience. And I think it's just like a very natural, symbiotic, I think these partnerships just kind of evolve over a common, love for this industry. This summer we're feeling the pains of 2020 and just kind of being, our marketing team is, kind of constantly brainstorming, how can we talk to the customer without, fatiguing her, and everyone, all the small brands were getting creative with marketing this during this pandemic. And we created this ambassador program called the Honorary role. And basically what we did was we targeted up and coming influencers, so micro influencers. And we basically, sent them product, 11 Honoré collection or designer, and, they photographed it. And it was amazing what the conversion was, because customers loved seeing it on real women. These influencers, and especially like in smaller markets, not just New York, not just LA, but in Texas or Illinois, wherever it was. We have a great influencer in North Carolina, just all over the US. And the customers really were able to relate, because they said, oh, I love the way she styled it, or that, her body type is kind of like mine, I bet that would look good on me too. And it just was such a relatable way to show clothes and kind of continue to engage the community.
And what an amazing way as well during pandemic, when the opportunity to do the types of marketing campaigns that maybe people would previously have done, as those options weren't available. And obviously you've spoken a lot there about authenticity. How big of an issue is kind of tokenism in having size inclusive models in brands' marketing campaigns?
I mean, it's an issue,
Yeah.
And we're constantly, it has to be the forefront of a brand's, it has to be like on the forefront of a brand's marketing team's mind at all times, because, there's a lot of brands that claim to be size inclusive. Maybe they stop at a US 16, maybe they claim to be plus size, but they're only showing models that are a size 12. And maybe throwing in a size 16, but she's kind of not at the forefront. She's not a leading lady. So it absolutely exists. And, I think it's important to have representation of every size. And that's what every brand should be striving to do. And if you're not doing it, identify it and do better. I think, I think it's something that everyone can work on.
So in terms of how brands, I guess, can make sure that they're embedding that size inclusivity into their DNA and ensuring that it appears as authentic, what other strategies would you kind of suggest that they adopt?
I think it needs to be embedded in the DNA of a brand. I mean, it has to be part of the brand ethos. So I think it starts there. I think you just have to make sure that everyone in your world, your community, your audience, your customer base is represented. And that has to be inclusive of all sizes and very diverse.
Yeah, like as you said, fitting on models of that size, offering product imagery of the product on that size as well, all helps to demonstrate that you really are standing behind that customer and that consumer.
Absolutely.
So naturally, when people think of sustainability in relation to fashion, they kind of immediately think of the environment and the supply chain impact. How does size inclusivity relate to sustainability? And can brands really call themselves sustainable if they're ignoring marginalized groups?
Oh, it's so hard. And especially for the plus size consumer who's already, quite marginalized. So she has a small, pool to shop from, and then, she's trying to shop sustainable. So that pool shrinks even more. It's not easy. It's none of it is easy. It's not easy for brands to be sustainable. We have to import product, we have to ship, there's planes and trains and automobiles involved. But I think, if brands are not having that conversation about sustainability now, you're going to be playing catch up in 5 years. That's for sure. I think the focus needs to constantly be, how are we reducing our carbon footprint? Mm-hmm. I also think that it's so important to have a transparent conversation with your customer about what you're doing. So we're very open about what we are doing to become more sustainable, about the sustainable brands we're partnering with. Mm-hmm. We changed our packaging to be more sustainable, and our customers were thrilled. I also think it's our responsibility to educate the customer on sustainability. If we're not telling her how important it is to shop sustainable, she won't know, and she's gonna choose other places to shop. So I think it's a constant dialogue with the customer, and it's constantly keeping your eye on what you're doing to reduce your carbon footprint and how you're striving towards sustainability.
Totally. And in terms of the demand of sustainable products that you're seeing at 11 Honoré from your customer base, what is it that you're seeing? What is it that they're looking for? Because I think one stat using edited data that blew my mind is that less than 20% of sustainable brands carry above average sizing, and by average sizing meaning kind of above, a US size 8 or 10 is how it's been described.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's like similar to what I was saying. The market size is quite narrow in this category, and I do think that brands that have nailed sustainability and haven't forayed into the extended size category needs to do so, and vice versa. Brands that have nailed plus size and gotten the fit right, and they need to focus on sustainability. So it's a constant effort. I believe you can't do that overnight, but it is something that is important, and you have to talk to the customer about. And like I said, this customer has been underserved in the luxury arena for so long. Mm-hmm. So not only is she discovering where she can shop, what brands she can wear, but she's also discovering how important sustainability is. So it's continually educating the customer.
Totally. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier, just because, the plus size customer and the straight size customer, everyone wants the same things, right? If you're yearning for that sustainable product, it's only natural that the plus size consumer is wanting the same thing from their assortment, their wardrobe.
Right.
Katie, thank you so much for such an interesting insight. And one question we always ask our guests is, what is the one thing that you would love our listeners to take away from this episode?
One thing. Oh, wow. Narrow it down. Well, one thing I think is, if you are working with a brand or foraying into this category, I think you need to embed inclusivity in every aspect of the brand. And I think that starts internally, and really structuring the brand's DNA to be set up for inclusivity in every way. I think it starts with, hiring a diverse staff, hiring women, hiring plus size women. So I think that's incredibly important. And I'd also say, stay tuned. This conversation is going to just continue to evolve. Like I said earlier, plus size has been kind of a niche little category in the overall fashion landscape. And I think it's going to have a bigger seat at the table in years to come. I think we're going to see a lot more designers extending their size range. And I think that because I think we're going to see the percentage of plus shoppers increase. Not because people are getting bigger, but because we're uncovering her, we're finding her, we're identifying, and we're talking to her like we'd talk to a straight size customer. So can just watch it grow.
Exactly. The opportunity is endless. And
Absolutely.
you said it's her knowing that there are now businesses that cater to her and can give her what she wants, which is fantastic. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It was so fun.
As a listener of ours, we are here to support you throughout 2021. If you're a customer of Edited, please contact your dedicated account manager and retail strategist, and they'll do everything they can to support you. For all of our listeners, please ensure you're subscribed to our insider briefing. You can sign up at edited.com, where we'll be keeping you all up to date on the latest news and strategies. If you've enjoyed today's conversation with Katie, please make sure you subscribe to keep in the loop with future episodes, and please tell your friends or family about us. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us at unedited@edited.com or tweet us at edited_HQ. Goodbye.